Welcome.
Please welcome.
The Outdoor Project Podcast. Hear real conversations from industry leaders on the latest in the hardscape and landscape industry. Brought to you by Sensenig's Landscape Supply. You're now streaming the Outdoor Project Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Outdoor Project Podcast. Today we're honored to sit down with the owner of Sensenig's Landscape Supply, Carl Sensenig. Carl, thank you for sitting down with us today.
It's my pleasure.
It's always nice having Carl, his smiley face in front of us. We see it in the meetings, but now we get you on the podcast.
You know, the problem is every time he comes in, I'm trying to lose weight over here, and he brings donuts for us every time.
You need some sugar, energy.
Carl, it's great to sit down with you. I mean, there's a huge history with Sensenig's. I think this year's the 25th anniversary of Sensenig's Landscape Supply. Really, we want to sit down today. We want to talk a little bit about it. 25 years. It's a long time to be in business. Where did this all start?
It started when we, as a family, moved to New York State 25 years ago. We were living in Pennsylvania, and I was a farmer all my life. And when I moved to New York, I needed to find a way to put bread and butter on my table because God had blessed us with 11 children.
Holy cow.
6 were born and 5 adopted. And I was desperate for work, and what do I do? And I tried different things on minimum wage. And finally, my wife said, I need some mulch for my flower beds. And we couldn't find any. People said, oh, there's some over at Syracuse or up at Rochester, but nobody here. So I got a load of mulch, dumped it in my backyard, put a sign up for sale. And after a while, the stories came in from some of the neighbors that said, what's this guy doing? Nobody here buys mulch. And anyway, we had some, and eventually we start selling it. So that's where it started. And yeah, from there on it grew.
In 1995.
Yes, 1995. We moved in 94 to New York.
So 25 years ago, I'm sure the equipment has changed. And I know you guys went through a sale of mulch and stuff, but how did you go from dumping that load into your backyard and then just evolving into a huge mulch company? What was that process like?
There were several things. Equipment was a big need. We started out with a little truck without a dump. So the first orders that we would deliver, I'd take the little boys along out, and the guy'd say, dump it here. And we'd get our forks out and start shoveling. And he'd say, whoa, this is going to take a long time. To his surprise, it didn't take long. And I would motivate the boys by doing that good work by stopping for an ice cream cone on the way home.
Oh, that's always...
But that's where it started with. And those are partners in our business today.
You're talking Joel and Justin.
Yes, Joel and Justin. Stanley had help for a little bit.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't mention is, yes, you started, but now you're a partner. So you
Right.
have your sons involved in
Yes.
this business also. So expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, today there's 4 of us as partners, 2 sons and a son-in-law. And it is a family-run business. And basically, the boys carry, a lot of the day-by-day partnership things. I'm here to sort of overlook and encourage, and now and then give a little correction.
Yeah, I think I got here at the Rochester location 5 years ago.
Okay.
And meeting your whole family and the whole Sensenig's values. What are the values of Sensenig's that people don't know? What are your values?
Okay, our values started maybe with a simple thing called the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule is where we like to treat others like we want to be treated. And we've tried to put that into shoe leather every day so that at the end of the day we feel good about what we did, even though sometimes other people didn't feel good. But at the end of the day, we had friends and repeat customers.
Yeah.
And it's family. Our family is very much faith-based. Our decisions on a daily basis are our goal is to bring glory to God, extend his kingdom and his principles. And his blessing that we have felt over the years was not because sometimes people say, you were really smart. You saw an opportunity to start this landscape supply business. And it wasn't that. We were trying to survive, and we put our energies into it and worked, and God blessed the effort. And today, we're really blessed because we have one of the best teams in the whole industry.
I know being here, we've been very successful.
Yes.
And I think the major thing is the values. You use that word values. And I think everyone brings that value to work every day. And it starts from you guys. You know, I think it really trickles down through the employees. And it's great to come to work here every day.
Yeah, I think coming to work every day, we have a smile on our face. And I think that's what those values bring to us. You know, I know 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when we first started, it was just as a breath of fresh air. You know, and I know it's been hard for you guys as owners and partners to take that step back. And I just want to thank you, you know, truly is giving us that, you know, that time to take over and really manage both stores. And for you guys to take a step back and trust in us has really been a blessing.
Well, that's wonderful. For years, the team, the partners, were all hands-on, doing everything that needed to be done, trying to do everything here and there and fill in. And finally, we came to the realization, if we delegate work, it's going to be done better than if we do it. And it is. It's just so beautiful every day to see teamwork and see managers who are really doing a great job.
I think, again, you went from the mulch business, and then you hired, you know, maybe an outdoor salesman that brought in the concrete.
Right.
And then you guys expanded with Yukon Valley Stone.
Right.
And then the sale of the mulch business and the uncertainty of, you know, that's all you guys knew.
Right.
You know, where can you expand on that? What made that decision to really sell your mulch and then go forward?
Well, first of all, our name recognition in the industry was because of our mulch business and what we established there with customer relationships. When I started selling mulch, I was doing retail business, basically, buying it, selling it. And I had a very bad experience with getting supplies in. And after we started making our own mulch and recognized one of the hardest things to get in the mulch business was to get raw material. The sawmills did not trust anybody. They were full of bark, but they didn't trust anybody to buy it because they had so many bad experiences of being left set with not getting paid. So when I could penetrate that, first of all, I got a sawmill that was stock full. They hardly had room for their logs. It was so full of bark that I said, could I clean this place up? And they said, will you pay? I said, every load. And so I started on a cash basis. After a while, he said, well, I'll put you in 30 days, first day of the month. And after a while, it was like, take all the bark you want. And soon the phone started ringing, and other sawmill owners were calling and saying, would you take our mulch? Would you take our bark? We heard that you pay. and that's how it grew. That was the hardest thing getting started. When we sold the mulch business a few years ago, we were doing over close to 3,000 semi-loads a year. And at that point, we loved it. But it was coming to the place where we needed to expand, do a lot more infrastructure. There was more competition for raw material. And we saw a wonderful opportunity to sell it to a company that we really trusted and expand our stone business. Now, there was a time when we weren't doing stone for the first 12 years or so, but a guy came in with a load of stone from Canada, and he said, you should sell stone. And I said, nobody in the Finger Lakes buys stone. And he thought that's funny. And so we started, and today that is our main business, stone, and especially natural stone, imported from many different places.
Yeah, it's incredible. I know the first time I seen Sensenig's Landscape Supply in Geneva, you know, you go over that hill on 5 and 20,
Yep.
and you look over Sensenig's, and it's just a huge stone yard. I mean, you got acres upon acres of natural stone, slabs, concrete pavers, and beautiful landscapes. It's incredible. So I think people that are going there, visually, it's like, wow, this is incredible. I want to go see this
It's like
place.
the Disney World of Stone. Everybody that goes over that hill's like, they come over. It's like, wow, it's like the Disney World of Stone. It's pretty amazing.
You know, they come to the Rochester store and they're like, wow, this is incredible. I'm like, really? You haven't seen nothing until you've been to Geneva yet.
We're coming into the mulch season, and what brings you could go to a box store and buy 5 bags for 10. Why does our mulch stand out in the community? And you pretty much made the recipe to this, because the guy that bought you out sat on our lot for 3 years, pretty much making the mulch that Sensenig's made. What's the benefits of buying Sensenig's mulch, or now Finger Lakes mulch?
Okay, first of all, most mulch manufacturers take the good stuff and sell it in bulk. The inferior stuff they put in bags, because the box stores want cheap. It's rough. It's not nice. It doesn't really break down and put organic matter in the soil. The bags are the inferior quality. So we set the pace for the bulk mulch by making quality products. At the end, before we sold, we had probably 8 or 9 different kinds. Most of them were natural bark, anything from pine. We had the hardwoods. We had the different kind of, from the deep barkers at sawmills. And that was really good stuff for the soil nutrients. But then we also had the wood products. We started helping the cities. The cities had huge piles of either leaves, all the brush that came in from their city, that they bring in daily. And they were trying to grind this stuff and were frustrated because they didn't understand grinders. And they were putting a lot of money into grinding. And so we go into the cities and say, hey, we'll grind your products, all your trash, even take your leaves, huge amounts of leaves, and you give us the product. We'll grind it. And they could sell their $350,000 grinder and be done with the frustration, and we loved it.
Yeah.
So we had a grinder on the road doing that, and maybe as far as a quality product, in our best product for plant growth was the products where we mixed in some leaves. The leaves were really good for plant growth. And just starting with good product. Most of them are very quality. We tried to make a grade that was fine enough that it would break down, but not that fine that it would blow away.
Yeah, and I think you dump out one of those bags from the box store,
Yeah.
and it covers your feet. Half of them have bark on it. The first rain, the black turns to gray.
Yep.
And it's just, there's no comparison.
There's weeds growing out of the bag before you even dump it out.
Yeah, we ask you these questions, Carl, but we know the answer, and that's why we sell a lot of mulch here, along with, again, the natural stone, all the concrete. Again, Sensenig's Landscape Supply is a one-stop shop, from our fabrication to the mulch. And it's just, we talk about mulches because this is how it's all started.
It is.
Did you ever imagine it getting to this point where you're now running 2 stores?
When I was first delivering mulch with my straight truck without a dump, I wondered, is it possible that someday I would have a dump truck or maybe 2 dump trucks? And I was trying to imagine where this could go, but never did I dream it would go here.
Yeah, you're talking about a dump truck, and we haven't even discussed about Flint Creek yet.
Yeah.
How many tractor trailers do we own?
Well, I think Flint Creek, which is a part of Sensenig's Landscape Supply, which still is hauling the mulch for the man who bought our business.
Yep.
And I don't know how many, probably 10, 12 walking floors yet. We have belt trailers. We have tank trailers. I think totally we have close to 60 trailers and probably 40 tractors. So we have a lot of trucking going on. And one of the things that set our mulch business aside from competition was service. When I first started, I would call for a load of mulch to be dumped in my yard, and I wouldn't even get a person on the phone. They would call me back, and I'd place my order. Maybe a week later, I'd get a load. Our goal was whenever an order came in for mulch, in 12 to 24 hours, they had their delivery. We didn't always make it, but normally. And that's what builds service is the word.
Yeah, and I think we deal with a lot of the contractors at each location. And I remember when you hired me to run this location, you were always like, we're generous with our mulch. You know, we don't like conflict. Some guys will say we shorted them maybe on a tractor-trailer load. And I remember one instance, I think it was within the first 2 months I started, and one of the contractors said, I think you shorted me on my tractor-trailer load. And I called you and said, hey, you know, I got this issue. How do we know if we shorted somebody or not? And you're like, well, if it's in question, you know what we're going to do? We're going to send them another load.
Yep.
And you know what? That guy was like, well, can you just send maybe 15 yards? I'm like, nope, we're going to send you another load.
Yep.
And it's saved, I mean, not saved, but I mean, that build, that trust, that service really is what kind of led us to the success. You know what I mean? And when our competition, we have a lot of competition, whether it be nurseries or whatever around here. And I remember you always saying, heap those buckets up.
Yep.
Fill those guys up. We don't want to ever think we're cheating somebody. You know, and I think that has really made us grow over the last few years.
You are exactly right about that, because I've talked to so many guys, contractors that I work with on a daily basis, that they come in here for their mulch in the summertime. Every day you see them. And I think it goes a long way, because you pull up to a job, it's always nice when you have enough mulch and you have a little bit extra. There's nothing worse than pulling up to a job thinking, okay, I did this job last year, 5 yards of mulch, it was perfect. You get 5 yards somewhere else and you're short. And then you got to make another trip. You're losing money. You're paying someone to go get another half yard, 1 yard of mulch. I think it really does go a long way. Just little things like that. A little bit of a heaping load of mulch. I know it kept me coming back when I was a contractor here before I started. It was great knowing that I always had enough mulch, enough stone, whatever it was.
And not just knowing that, but never having to question it. Never having to question that we shorted you. And that trust factor with our contractors, that's why we've grown so much. And we sell a lot of mulch. A lot of Yukon Valley. I mean, our business has grown double with our natural stone over the last 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. And our Yukon Valley line, that's, again, we pull from quarries all over the world. I mean, from Turkey and China and India, from all over the states, Missouri, right, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, New York. I mean, everywhere. It's pretty amazing. The different colors. Canada, you know, one of our most popular stones, a lot of our most popular stones come out of Canada. Yeah. So we get stone from all over the world. We sell Teco Block. We sell Cambridge. We sell Belgard. We sell Unilock. We sell CST. We sell tools, pave tools, Holton tools, all your IQ tools. I mean,
we sell umbrellas.
It's
a one-stop shop.
I mean, you're talking about going to sleep and trying to get to sleep, but all the stuff that we sell is pretty amazing. It truly is a one-stop shop, and we thank you for allowing us to expand on our business and trusting us that we would lead this business into the right direction.
That is great about Sensenigs. I mean, I get calls here, retail customers, do you sell this? Do you sell umbrellas? I keep resorting to the umbrella, because when I first started, I'm like, I don't think we sell umbrellas. I think we sell everything. We sell outdoor furniture. We sell any accessory you want for your outdoor living. So it's really great being able to come in here and really get whatever you want for your outdoor lifestyle.
And I think the contractors that always have questions, they might go to our competition for a certain product, but it seems like that we service the majority of the contractors in the Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse area because of the vast variety of products that we sell.
There's only one catch. When I tell people it's a one-stop shop place, they say, "Do you sell greens?" I said, "No, we have some friends nearby who do."
Yeah, I know.
And that's the only thing we don't really have. But contractors can stop in the morning and get their day's supplies except greens.
Yeah, and I know the Geneva location, and we're getting busier and busier and busier in the Rochester location. But there's a line out the door on Saturdays for the mulch, or just general pickups in the Geneva area, because it's a very it's a unique location. You're right around the Finger Lakes, the lakes. There's a lot of money, and there's not a lot of places to go to except for the box stores.
Right.
But people like to support a local business, which Sensenig is, and I think that's why we draw some attention, especially for the retailers, because we are a local business and locally owned, and I think people have they see the value in that. I think again, just expanding a little bit on the business side. What about question maybe your religion and stuff? What do you do outside of Rochester with your family?
Well, our family is sort of unique in that our children and grandchildren are spread across 5 countries. And Bolivia, Guatemala, Haiti. Actually, one of the business partners is presently on a 2-year mission working in Haiti, helping with the poverty there and schools and churches. So, yeah, we do, with the blessings we've had, we are reaching out to other countries of great need.
And I think we've built this business. You've allowed us to build this business for you here. But it doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop in Rochester and Geneva. I mean, this business could be built anywhere else. Don't you agree?
Yes. The principles that we have tried to embrace, integrity, honesty, just treating people well and doing a great business so that people want to come back.
Yeah, I know, since working here, the values that you carry, every day we come closer to being a better person, really. And right. I know from day one, 6 years ago, to where I am now, I just, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank you for, being there as a mentor. And, we look at you as family, obviously, and waking up every day and really enjoying coming to work. It's been a blessing.
And that whole feeling that you're expressing flows over to every customer, because customers feel that.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely, people love coming. The thing about marketing or repeat business is all about referrals. So we get people in here that come here once. We get another person in here from a referral of that person, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And I think, again, not only being a one-stop shop, having everything for them, the referral business of Sensenig brings us success.
Yeah, just one of the blessings we have seen is not only the expansion of business in the Finger Lakes here in upstate New York, but one of the things I've seen is our family has been involved in starting a business in Central America, the country Guatemala. And we had a family there, son-in-law and daughter, who have 6 sons. They needed work. And there was very little work. Competition, labor was so cheap. And finally, he started selling feed. And through miracles, today they have a business that is selling, I'm not sure how to measure that, but they have close to 200 employees, mostly native Guatemalans, and their whole business model is run on the principles that we were talking about at Sensenig. And basically, they have people running that business, managers, veterinarians, accountants, everything structured with native Guatemalans who no longer have any interest in fleeing to the border wall. They're all happy right in their country, being with their families, having family life, and they're getting paid well. And they have a lineup every day at their gate with people wanting jobs. Wow. And it's almost a miracle. They're bringing in grain, soybeans, and corn by the shiploads. When a ship comes, they have hundreds of trailers that need to come out of that ship in 24 hours. And they're moving a premium feed all across that country today, touching every part of it with a non-GMO, organic, to everything. And their feed is outperforming all the competition. So that's been a tremendous blessing and sort of a sideline, but it's one where we get joy of seeing the same thing reproduced in a third world country than what we have right here in this wonderful state of New York.
I think being a parent now, that's got to make you the proudest father. I mean, you have 11 kids. Like you said, six kids and then 5 adopted.
Right.
I mean, you set that standard in their lives, and they're all becoming so successful. I mean, you've definitely done your job well, I would say.
Well, in spite of what we did or didn't do, all credit to our Heavenly Father.
Yeah, that's, and I think we built this business, Sensenig, for your sons, Joel and Justin, for their kids to grow up and eventually run the company. And I think just waking up, set money aside and everything, and set, just daily life and TV and all that stuff, set all of that aside, waking up every day and working hard. And like you said at the beginning of this podcast, just to put food on the table, but to see it grow is a blessing in itself. And allowing and again, trusting in us that we would help you with your values to make it what it is now. And the stories you just told us about outside of this, just to put some food on your table is amazing.
Well, the blessing, we really are thankful. We want from the minute a customer walks into the store till the product is delivered on the job site for them to have a good feeling. And that we're just grateful for every day, because we hear, oh, your delivery man, he was great. Well, wonderful. And that it has to end there. And then when there's problems on the job, we try to give a support team to come out there. We have professionals surrounding us, all our vendors and their support teams that are here to get out there and do it.
Yeah, from that one dump truck of mulch or that one load of mulch to building Yukon Valley, to selling all of this, to building Dutch Heritage Furniture, to the 2 locations, to whatever you guys do outside of the country. It's just amazing, the growth and watching it grow on a day-to-day. It's just been so special.
Carl, it's been 25 years. What does the next 25 years look for you? What's going to happen with Sensenig? Are we gonna evolve even bigger or what?
I get sort of excited when I look at the past 25 years. But I'm even more excited about, for me at my age, at least the next 10.
Oh, no, don't sell yourself short.
But it'll be beyond that.
Carl, we really appreciate you stepping in with us and doing this podcast. And even this podcast, I know it's a little bit nerve-wracking for you because we're doing a lot of things different now with marketing stuff. And we didn't know how much it was going to take for you to get on this podcast, but we really appreciate you sitting here with a big old smile and telling us your story.
I really appreciate it too. Giving me the opportunity to obviously work here, be a salesman here. It's been a great run. I've been here 2 years now. Now we're doing podcasts. It's great. I love working I love working here. I love coming to work every day, even Saturdays.
Even Saturdays. Well, one of the things about the podcast, I've been following them, and I always enjoy Joey's contagious laughter and your a special articulate speech. Both of you do a tremendous job. And to the audience, there's a lot you can learn from all these projects that are being put together.
Yeah.
I just listened to some of them, and I think, wow, that's tons of information. But that's our goal, not only to sell, but to inform.
Yeah, this was just a thought and a dream that our marketing guy, Ben, brought to us. And,
Yes.
From the first minute, we were all in, and we just had a little bit of planning to do. But I'm just glad that we are educating and inspiring people, and that the owners of the companies listen to it and learn from it too, because you guys have been our biggest supporter of this, and the feedback that you give us gives us the energy to keep going. And we have a huge lineup for this podcast, and it's going to be a big success because at the end of the day, all we're doing is educating the community.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like you just said, when we started this, we didn't know what we were kind of getting ourselves into with this podcast, but it's only been maybe 2.5 months of really going at it with these podcasts. And our goal is to really, I mean, I'm no rocket scientist. I don't want to speak for Joe, but I think we're doing a good job educating the listener, just giving different point of views to different areas that are listening to this podcast. And that's really the goal that we're setting forth with this podcast.
And thank you, Carl. We appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Carl, thanks.
We look forward to the next years.
No more
Yes.
donuts.
Oh.
What can we do that's healthier?
Yeah, but those donuts that they make homemade.
Those are. Bring those next time. How's that?
Thank you. Yeah. But when if I can bring you Tim Hortons, that's still pretty
Yogurt.
good.
You always bring the parfaits. Those are good.
Yeah, those are
yeah.
good. And they're a little bit
Healthy.
healthier, too.
Yeah. We got to slim down. Summertime's coming. We need our beach bodies, right?
When summer comes, you will slim down.
Yeah,
You're going to be pedaling hard.
Oh yeah.